Just like the street lights lit this town, like a fire in a blaze, gotta burn it down. Can't be afraid to leave this out. We got this far, don't know how. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we're gonna light it up tonight. We're gonna light it up tonight. We're gonna light it up just like the sunrise. We're gonna light it up now. Just like a spark that's breaking out. Can't make a stop, can't turn back now. We know that there's no room for doubt. No, we can't turn back now. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we're gonna light it up tonight. We're gonna light it up tonight. We're gonna light it up just like the sunrise. We're gonna light it up now.
Hey guys, how we doing tonight? Welcome in. Welcome on in. How's everybody doing this evening? Hopefully you're having a great start to your weekend, and hopefully you're off tomorrow for work because it is the 4th of July. I just realized my other half's going to be home, and I was like, oh, didn't know that you had off for the 4th of July. When I worked outside of the house, we didn't have 4th of July off. I worked in customer service, so we didn't have no days off in customer service, but we did have like Christmas or something off. I think that was like the only holiday. I think Thanksgiving and Easter too. So don't let me lie to you. I think there was 3, but not 4th of July. But tomorrow is the 4th. Let me know what your guys' plans are going to be for tomorrow. And if you're watching on a replay, comment below what you're going to be doing. I'd love to know. I think we're going to go watch the fireworks somewhere. I think last year we didn't end up going. I don't think we did. So this year we have to go. We have to be dressed up in red, white, and blue too. Hey, Ladybug, how you doing tonight? Hey, Warflare. How are you guys doing? Sorry, I was reading the comments. Hey, Otto, I'm glad you made a live. Hey, Dawn. That's why I got so quiet. Everyone's probably like, why is she so quiet? Hey, Catherine. Hey, Just Breathe. Hey, baby girl, welcome in. It's good to see everybody. Hey, Willows. I'm just reading like the comments as I'm going by. Hopefully you're having a good day, baby girl. Hey, ATX, how you doing? How's everybody doing after yesterday's, fiasco? I got plea deal, whatever it was. You know what it was. I'm still in shock. Hey, Mr. Rosebud. I'll probably be in shock until we go to sentencing. I'll probably still be in shock by sentencing. But tomorrow I have, because I was getting the live for tonight ready, and I was like, oh, this is a really good idea for a live too. So tomorrow I'm going to take you like inside. I got some pictures and stuff of the inside of this prison that everyone thinks that Bryan Kohberger is going to be going to. And let's just say it's nasty in there. It's nasty. It ain't gonna be a, it ain't gonna be daycare like Steve Gonzalez says. Hey Ashley, hey Jog. Welcome in everybody. It's good to see you guys. Hey Lenora. Hey Betsy. Hey Courtney. Still in shock. Yeah, I feel bad for all the families. I actually I think I have to find that. I had a statement from Xana's dad. I found it. It was from the day before the hearing. I don't know where I put it. I don't see it up in my browser. Hey DM. Hey Brian. Welcome in. Hey Kara. Hey Micro. Hey Chloe. Welcome in everybody. Hey Marine. Hey Zaza. Haven't seen some of you guys in a while. It's good to see you guys. Hey Dion. We're gonna pick up some other cases here soon too, but we'll be doing Idaho in between the other cases, but I think that they'll be pretty good. I've been listening to so much stuff the last couple of days the last few days actually, just on other cases. I've been following the Crystal Rogers case. I need to get caught up the last couple of days on that one. And then I've been following Barry Morphew. So I want to do some lives on those. And then I also want to do some lives. Thank you. I don't even know how you say your name. Valsivich. I know that's wrong. But I want to do some more videos for you guys. And I want to do a compilation, because we have some cases that we haven't touched on in a long time. And there's not huge developments, or I would have brought the huge developments, but we could do like an overall case update, Oh, thanks, Betsy. Everything that I use pretty much is actually linked in the description in the video. I put the products that I use in there now. I try to put them all there. Hi, Nightbot. Gotta say hi to Nightbot. I don't know if I said hi to Sirius, but I know I highlighted your name. Hello. Hey, Machichi. Surfing as usual. Beautiful. Is it already out? The Peacock one? Because we have to watch that. I thought it was on the 11th. The sheath was not planted. No, I don't believe so. Hey, country thing. Is that what people were saying, that it was planted? Why would they? If they're going to plant something, they would plant more than just a speck of DNA on a button snap. I mean, even the guy saying I'm guilty is not, people were just like, nah, he didn't do it. You would think these were his mamas, all these people. Because that's about the only person that would go to bat for me like that is my mama. And she probably wouldn't even do that. I haven't seen Sharon forever. I know she was got upset one night and then I haven't seen her, but I did write her. So I want to go over the timeline of the events now that we know what they are, kind of have a better understanding. Tomorrow, I think I'm going to do this tomorrow instead of tonight because I have some other stuff I want to show you. But I want to go back over Bill Thompson, exactly what he said in the court hearing, because it seemed like everything that was said was pretty much in the PCA, but there were a couple things that were outside of that. And I just want to re-listen to it. I feel like there's going to be things that we pick up a second or third time, I don't know. And I don't know if everyone's watched it or not. By Joe Biden. Biden wasn't aware he's no longer president. Well, I guess they're signing a new bill into law or something tomorrow. Before I came in here, I heard Trump marching down to the stage to I'm proud to be an American, that song. And I was like, it's 4th of July. It is the 4th of July. It's happening. It's happening. So, yeah, so I want to hear exactly what he said, because I didn't hear him say anything about the container, but I could have just missed that part. And this animation. So Asget is a really good creator on the platform, and I'm going to drop her link so everyone can subscribe to her, because she does the best animations. I think she does them just they're simple, but they're very detailed. and they're easy to like, I don't know, understand. But she used to do some for the Idaho 4 case in the beginning. She did like 3, and then she ended up deleting those videos. I don't know why she did, but she put another one out. I'm gonna let my dog in really quick. Hold on one second. I knew she'd want to come in. Let me actually take this off my chair. Okay. I had a blanket on my chair, so that's better. Well, yeah, I don't think he would carry it with him, right? But I wonder where the knife sharpener went. Like there's still questions. We're gonna have them. Maybe Catherine Ramsland will, write a book with Kohberger, and we'll see it in a year or 2 or whatever. I think that he will, if he's able to, he will probably come out with little bits and pieces of stuff. If I think he's going to want to be known. I don't think he's going to want to be just sitting in his jail cell, hanging out. I don't really see that for him. I don't see him in general population really to begin with, but if he does make it in there, I see him like trying to write a book, even if he doesn't get paid for it, it doesn't make any monetary off of it. Or he might do like Ted Bundy and like do little interviews with the police and give little tapes and stuff here and there of like stuff. But she does, in the recreation, she does make a really good point on where he could have maybe ditched the murder weapon that we've never went over before. And I was like, go girl. So we're going to go over that here soon. But I wanted to go over the timeline of events just for the night, the day, the night of, and then into the morning of the 13th. And then we will look at some pictures from that date, and then we'll go into the 3D animations. And then I have some interviews I was going to show you guys that I saw today that I thought were pretty interesting. And then at the end of the live, I have the tab open. The Goncalves family put out another statement, and I was going to read it to you guys. So it was a nice statement. So, hey, Firewalk with me. Hey, Jet Set. Welcome in, everybody's. Yeah, which documentary? Because I want to see it. Because I know the one that was supposed to come out, I think I still have a couple days right now. Isn't the 11th? Okay, that's what I thought. So I was like, the 11th. Okay, because that's what I had in my mind. I was like, I have until like at least like the 8th or 7th to get everything set up. I need to do it before then, but actually I could probably do it this weekend. Yes, I got an extra day, Okay, yeah, that's good news. That's good news. Because, he works hard all week. I hate asking him to do stuff kind of on the weekends, which he does plenty, but after, cooks me breakfast in bed and stuff, I don't want to ask him to do too much more. No, they won't put him in protective custody. Yeah. They won't keep him there. They're going to have to put him in. I mean, he'll eventually segregate into general population. I don't see them just like plopping them right down in there. I mean, they probably could. That would be a shock to somebody's system, though. I mean, going from, being segregated for 2.5 years into general population, into the prison that I heard that he's going into that's not going to be a fun time. But it's not meant to be, No, he can't be forced to do anything. But so whenever they do, the girl that does the 3D animation, she got her information from like all the public resources, and then she actually got information from like Netflix and Dateline, but they like gave it to her because she did the animation for Dateline for their the little animation that they had, so they gave her information. So I'm like, okay. So November 12th. Dogs get comfortable. 2022. Kaylee called her mom. This is at 2:30 p.m. This is the November 12th, the day before. So Kaylee called her mom after sending pictures and telling her about how much fun she and Maddie had at the Pi Beta Phi party last night. At 4 p.m. that day, the Vandal football game, they had a football game against UC Davis. wonder if I should show you guys the pictures as I read them through. Maybe we'll do that. Which way do I go? Okay. Maybe we'll do this. That way you have like something to look at while you know what I mean? Like putting the, like reading the stuff. So then between 8 and 9 p.m., Ethan Chapin and Xana Kernodle attended a party at the Sigma Chi fraternity house on campus. I'm just going to kind of go through the pictures. At 10:15 p.m., Kaylee and Madison Mogen left the home. And at 10:20, they arrived at the Corner Club bar. So this is them on video that night at the Corner Club talking to Jack Decor. And then Adam's over here in the corner. And then you got Jack Showalter here with the backwards hat and the white hoodie and like the Carhartt type jacket. What other pictures are in here? Okay. So then at 12 a.m., Xana spoke to her father. Xana told him she was home with her boyfriend. At 1 a.m., Dylan and Bethany returned home. And I wonder that if that's when like Ethan went to sleep, because after hearing what happened, it seems like he was really asleep if he didn't hear anything to wake up and get up out of bed, you know, with Xana being so close, like being found in the room. So I'm thinking maybe he went to bed like right whenever they got back there. So he was just like really out of it. At 1 a.m., Dylan and Bethany return home. At 1:30, Maddie and Kaylee, they leave the Corner Club. And then at 1:40, Maddie and Kaylee were seen on live Twitch stream at the food truck called the Grub Truck, located 4 blocks south of Friendship Square. They received their food about 10 minutes later and departed, reportedly returning home via a private party ride. These are going to be going into the next day, these pictures here. So, where was I at? Sorry. At 1:45 a.m., Ethan and Xana arrive at the residence on King Road. At 1:49 a.m., an Uber arrived to pick up Kaylee and Maddie from the Grub Truck. At 1:52 a.m., Kaylee and Maddie are walking towards their ride. At 1:56 a.m., Kaylee and Maddie arrive home. And then at 2:10 and 29 seconds, Dylan sends a text message to EG, which is the Uber driver, to inquire if he is driving, because that's when they were going to go out and grab food, because the girls brought home food. It probably smelled good. They were going to go get food, and then they decided not to. And then at 2:26 a.m., I'm just going to leave that picture up here for now. Actually, I'll change it. There's a video coming up that I want to show you guys in this camera roll, though. At 2:26 a.m., that's when Kaylee first called her. The first call goes to Jack. At 2:44 a.m., a white sedan, Bryan Kohberger's vehicle, was captured on Washington State University campus surveillance, traveling north on Southeast Nevada Street at Northeast Stadium Way in Pullman, Washington. At 2:53 a.m., the same white sedan is seen traveling northeast on Nevada Street, heading towards State Route 270, which connects Pullman to Moscow, Idaho. At 2:47 a.m., multiple calls are made from Goncalves' phone to her ex-boyfriend. Similar calls are made from Mogen's phone. And then it says here at 3:26, the white sedan traveling westbound in the 700 block of Indian Hills Drive. The vehicle does not display a front license plate. And at this time, Xana was using TikTok. So then at 3:28 a.m., continuing westbound on Steiner Avenue at Idaho State Highway 95. And this is when he's just, making the passes. So then at 3:29 a.m., multiple sightings of the white sedan, and I'll show you these later too. Near 1122 King Road, the vehicle makes 3 passes by the residence before leaving via Walenta Drive. This is unusual as the King Road area is a residential neighborhood with limited traffic during these hours. At 3:59 a.m., Xana is awake and received the DoorDash delivery. So what I've been hearing is like the delivery driver pulled into the parking lot or something at 3:59. And then like by the time that she dropped the food off and snapped the picture, I think it was like 4:00. So that's why you hear 3:59 and you hear 4:00. So then at 4 a.m., DM is awoken by what she believes is Kaylee playing with her dog in an upstairs bedroom. Shortly after, DM hears a female voice say something like, "There's someone here." And then she believes that to be Kaylee. Now, I believe it was probably Kaylee. I think that she would know the difference between Kaylee and Xana's voice. Maybe I would think that, right? And the direction that the voice was coming from. So I'm gonna assume that she got that right, and it was Kaylee. But I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think? I don't think he did either, Ladybug. I don't think he got out of the car. Hey, is she? And you can even see the camera right there. I think there's a other picture of it, or maybe it was the first picture. Yeah, right there. You can see the camera. That was before they took it. And the black thing that's on it, I believe there's a black cover on it, or maybe it's a black camera, but I had to get the white version because I didn't have the black version in stock when we did our experiments with it. Okay. And I have a video here in a second, and I think it says like something about Kaylee, like when they're taking the dog out. I'll show that to you guys. So where were we at? Okay. At 4:04 a.m., the white sedan enters the area again for the fourth time. It is seen driving eastbound on King Road, stopping and making a 3-point turn near 500 Queen Road, apartment 52, driving back westbound on King Road. The vehicle appears to struggle to park or turn around before continuing to Queen Road and King Road intersection, where it makes another 3-point turn before heading eastbound again on Queen Road. At 4:12, Xana was reportedly awake during this period. Forensic evidence suggests Kernodle was using her phone at 4:12 a.m. DM's second door opening. This is whenever she was saying that she had opened her door and she had heard crying. At 4:17, a nearby security camera recorded sounds of whimpering, a loud thud, and a dog barking multiple times. And let me see if we can find that video. This one right here. So let me make sure the volume's up. And I'll play it a couple times so you guys can hear it. This is somebody's TikTok, and they're recording the day, of the homicide. So you can, if you look at like in the distance, like all the way up there, you'll see like there's officers are like standing there, or they're walking, they're approaching. And then there's like a white heap of something. Those are students. So there's like students, and I think they have blankets or something, and they're all kind of just like huddled there. And I think that is Dylan and Bethany and all of them. I'm pretty sure that's who's probably sitting there. They probably told him, like, sit over there. We got to figure out what the hell's going on.
Wait, who's talking? Kaylee.
It's not. There was sound of this. It's not playing the sound, though. But it was like something like with Kaylee's dog. Can you guys hear it on your side? I can't hear it. That's so weird.
Wait.
Did I mute the page? I did. Okay, I muted the page. I don't know how I did that. Okay.
Wait, whose dog is it? Kaylee.
Do you hear that? Like at the end, it was like, oh, whose dog is that? And someone says like Kaylee.
Wait, whose dog is it? Kaylee.
And you can see the people. That's not trash. That's actually people there. The trash is full, but the people like are right there too. Like just sitting on the ground. I mean, they probably couldn't even feel anything. I mean, being that numb.
Wait, whose dog is it? Kaylee's.
I don't see the dog. I don't see that part. I thought maybe we would see it here, but we don't. Okay, I'll keep going over the timeline. Okay, so then then DM opens the door the third time, and that's when she sees a figure. You know, she describes him as 5'10" or taller, male, not muscular, but athletically built with bushy eyebrows. And I am not the only person that said, like, every people in the news, even Ashley Banfield's like, where's his eyebrows? So I think he shaved them. I think he did. You ain't gonna tell me nothing different. But let me know if you guys saw Bryan Kohberger in court and what you think he did to those eyebrows. Did he? I think he shaved them, or that's one thing I can think of. And what would be the point in that, right? Like, I mean, your eyebrow. I mean, even without his brows, his bones are still so prominent, it still sticks out. Like, it sticks out even worse. I was like, holy eyebrow, right? Like, where'd they go? Where'd they go? I'm going to do a compilation video of his eyebrows over the last 2.5 years. Because they went from like, I mean, like going from his picture, you know, the morning of, like, thumbs up, those things were bushy. So what we saw in court, I was nothing. I don't know. And I wonder what Anne thought. Did she say, trim up those eyebrows while you're trimming up the hair? Oh, Lord, I just couldn't do it. I mean, he could be plucking them out, like, you know. But that's, but after she saw, you know, Bryan Kohberger, after she saw Bryan, she was in a frozen shock state. She closed her door. That's when she went to her bed and started texting. It says here at 4:19, DM attempts to call BF, Xana Kernodle, Kaylee Goncalves, and Madison Mogen. All calls go unanswered. At 4:20 a.m., a white sedan at a high rate of speed departing the King Road residence area. Suspect vehicle 1 is next observed traveling southbound on Walletta Drive. At 4:21:50, the last call from DM to roommates. All calls are unanswered. And then it says note here, 4:21:51 a.m. to 4:22:07 a.m. The missing records could now clarify how Bethany became aware of a stranger in the house as reflected in her text message exchange with DM between 4:22 and 4:24. So those messages from 4:22:08 to 4:24:27, as she's, you know, texting Bethany downstairs, Bryan Kohberger is making his way back to, you know, Washington, to his apartment. And she's texting and she's saying, you know, no one is answering. I'm really confused right now. Kaylee, what's going on? Yeah, dude, what the WTF? Xana was wearing all black. I'm freaking out. No, it's like a ski mask almost. And then Bethany says, you know, back to that STFU. And she says, no, like, actually, she says, actually. And then DM says, like, he had something over his head and little in his mouth. DM to Bethany, Bethany, I'm not kidding. I'm so freaked out. She says, so am I. My phone's going to die. Come to my room, run down here. And then that's when at 4:24:39, DM calls Ethan Chapin. Call goes unanswered. At 4:24:58, DM texts BF, I'm scared though. And then at 4:25:16, BF responds, yeah, I know, but it's better than being alone. And then at 4:27, 4:28, and 4:32, they're all calling, and then they send the text message to Goncalves, please answer. And then at 10:23, the next morning, DM sends text messages to Goncalves, to Mogen, and then back to Kaylee again. Please answer. Are you up? Are you up? 11:39:09, DM texts her father, but these texts are not introduced. So They're not, we will never know probably what those said. I'd like to know though. I mean, I'd be curious. I would just be, just like so if I'm texting my dad in the morning, I don't know. I mean, unless we had a plan to do something, I would probably be texting him like, can you come over here? I don't know how far. Well, that's how far would it be? It would be a little bit of a distance. I don't know. I would be asking for some advice though. If no one was answering and I was scared because I know what I saw the night before, I don't know. I don't know how I would react in that situation, but I would like to know. DM receives a text from Jay saying, bro. So I don't know like how that comes in because like there's no outgoing text from, DM to this person, Jay. But then at 11:50, DM calls EA. And then at 11:51, DM receives another text from Jay. And it's just like, okay, well. And then that is up until they make, the call to 911. So that's some of the timeline there. I just wanted to go through the night and then the morning of, and the, the evening or the prior evening. We'll just go through like a few more of these. Let me actually go back. Okay. There's a lot of pictures in here. I think we went through these once before. Still want to know what's in that trash. Questions that'll never be answered. We should write out questions. How about that ladder? We'll probably never know. I mean, they probably just got on the ladder to go on the roof to hang out and drink, but that's what I think anyway. Okay. And I think the rest is just like the vandal alerts and stuff. And then it goes into the next day. Yeah. I'm telling you, that looks like Bryan Kohberger. You're going to tell me differently. Anyways, okay. So I wanted to get it together like some of the other like recreations that they did, like people have done over the time, but I couldn't find the ones I wanted to get from Asget because she did, like I said earlier, a few. She did I think 3 before this one, and she kept improving each time because like the first, one she put out, it was like had Dylan and Bethany on the first floor, because we weren't aware that, Dylan was actually on the second floor. And then so her second one she came out with, you could just see like the progression in it getting better. But we will watch her brand new one. It's really good. Before we do that though, we'll watch this other recreation that was done recently. It was done a year ago. And it's just, we went over it. It was probably like, I don't know. It's probably been a little while, but I went to let me see if I can go to his YouTube channel. Nope. But his YouTube channel, it has his name on here, but he does, it's in a different language. I don't know what language it's in. I forget now, but it's like Spanish or something. So if you're fluent in Spanish, that would work out. But I found it on Reddit. So that's where we're going to watch it from. But his name is Soto Crutch, something like that. And I'm going to actually see if I can go over to YouTube and find his page again. So I can put his link in there. If I can spell it right. Maybe we can get there. Okay, this is it. Yeah, I think he does true crime. But yeah, I'm going to put his link in here though. Here, the link is in the chat. And then I forgot to put my little welcome in, everybody. If you guys don't mind, take a second, hit the like button. It'll really help your girl out. Okay, so this he has him coming in as like the door dasher. So I'll let this play through a couple times. I think there's like music behind it, maybe. Oh wait, no, there's not. I think it'd be okay to play, but okay. I'm going to take it back to the beginning, and then that way you guys can see it a little better. Yeah. Of course. Let me slow down. Now that area was actually a little closer in proximity. Like when Bryan was walking in between the two, like if he was going down like around to Bethany's room, it was actually a very small hallway right there. Very small. And I don't know how you didn't I don't know how he didn't trip. And they are saying that maybe they were insinuating that he might have caught Xana on the stairs when she was running back towards her room. There's that step up right there. As you're going from, the steps, there's a hallway and then a step up. It's about, I think it's 4 inches or something like that. 4 or 6 inches. It's pretty high. I don't know how he didn't trip over that. Like he must have looked at, blueprints or something like we've looked at. I think I had them pulled up at one point. Did I not pull them up? Maybe not. Oh no, they're right here. Like, I can hear the fireworks. These are on Reddit now, but these were the ones that were on Zillow. So the step is right here. See the hallway? It's like smaller than what like looked pictured. And that would be Dylan's door. That would be open right there too. And there's just like another angle of that. We've seen these on the Kula or whatever it's called. And I think that's the upstairs bathroom on the 3rd floor. That would have been Kaylee's room. Again, then Maddie's room. That would have been Bethany's, or not Bethany, I'm sorry, Dylan's. And then this would have been Bethany's. And that would have been Xana's, and that would have been the empty room. And that would have been the bathroom on the 1st floor. Because there's like a bathroom and washer dryer on the 1st and the 2nd floor, which that's pretty nice to have too. Like have 2 in unit, like, especially with that many people living there. Okay. So let me get Asget's, this is her video link, but if you go to the video, it'll take you to her page. I'm going to go to her page really quick and get her, because I'm going to watch this a couple of times with you guys. Here's her actual page. She does a lot more, I think, on TikTok, but I think she's starting to come over onto YouTube because she's wanting to like get her own production company started. So make sure you go over and give her a like and subscribe to her channel. I was really surprised that she came out with this so fast. I was wondering when she would, and she did not disappoint. This is a really good animation, I think.
Hi guys.
So, like I said, her name is Asget. She's done different, different series before, and she's doing the Idaho murders on this one. She's done Alec Murdaugh. She's done the Titan implosion. Good videos.
Since Bryan Kohberger pled guilty today, I feel like we released this full illustration of the Idaho 4 crimes, showing Kohberger's movements.
I'm going to let this kind of like play through the beginning, and then like we'll kind of pause it and we'll go over it afterwards. That way you guys can see it.
together by evidence given to me by media companies like Netflix and others, including more recently Dateline, who hired me to do their 3D modeling for their project. I'm going to include a lot of information into this episode where you can see exactly what took place from moment to moment. Let's get started. In this illustration, we're going to start at 3:30 a.m. At this time, everyone is asleep except for Xana. Looking inside the home, we can see where everybody was. Starting at the 3rd floor, we can see where Maddie and Kaylee were sleeping. Maddie was sleeping on the edge of the bed, while Kaylee was sleeping near the wall. As we go out and drop down to the 2nd floor, we can see Dylan's room directly under Maddie's room. Continuing across the living room onto the other side of the home, we see Xana's room. She's sitting in bed scrolling on her phone while Ethan sleeps next to her. Minutes ago, she had just finished ordering DoorDash and has all the lights on while she waits. The last roommate to mention is Beth, whose room is on the 1st floor, directly below the living room. As most of them all sleep, Kohberger pulled into the neighborhood for the first time this night at precisely 3:30 a.m. We know this due to a home security camera that captures the intersection and records the coming and going of anybody that enters that neighborhood. As we continue, Kohberger drives past the home and notices that all the lights on the 2nd floor are still on. He drives on and loops around the apartment complex building. Because of the home security timestamp, we're able to know how long it took to drive this path. On his first pass, it took him 2 minutes and 38 seconds, and this is him leaving on the first pass. Now let's look at his next 2 passes and record the times. This is pass 2 of him entering and leaving. And now this is pass 3 of him entering and leaving. When we do the math, we can see how long he took each pass. The last 2 passes were normal without any stopping, but on his first pass, he took an additional 42 seconds to creep by the house, or even stop for a time to stare into the windows with the lights on. All this information has been coming from camera A, but there is a second camera located behind the apartment complex building, and we're going to call that camera B located here. This camera allows us to see how long it took to get from point A to point B,
And that's going to be the 1330 Linda Lane cameras.
Between the 3 security cameras data, it took between 35 and 37 seconds. What this means is you didn't stop or park somewhere or go into a different direction. He simply drove straight from point A to point B at regular speed. These times help us understand the DoorDash delivery window. According to court documents, 2 times are noted. One is 3:59 a.m. and the other is 4 a.m. Bringing back our passage chart, we can see that the DoorDash time of 3:59 happens after Kohberger has left the neighborhood and before he returns for his last pass at 4:04. It is possible that the DoorDash driver saw Kohberger as he was parking his car, because a timestamp of 3:59 could be reflected when he took the photo of the food at the front door instead of the time he arrived. So it is possible he witnessed Kohberger staring at the windows as he drove by. Continuing, as the driver leaves, Xana turns off all the lights, sits on her bed, and scrolls on her phone as she eats her food. A few minutes later, Kohberger enters the neighborhood for the last time. But this time, as he drives by the home, he sees all the lights are off. At the camera B location, he turns around to head back to the residence as shown in this video. When he returns to the front of the house, he does something unusual, so much so that it's noted in the arrest affidavit. On page 6, it states, "When the suspect vehicle 1 is in front of Kings Road residence, it appeared to unsuccessfully attempt to park or turn around in the road." It goes on to say that he continued onto the intersection where he did a 3-point turn. This 3-point turn was captured on camera A, which has a timestamp of 4:06. He appears to be calm and not overly anxious with his driving. As he heads back in the direction of the residence, He takes one last look at the windows to make sure all the lights are off. As he begins to drive around the end of the apartment complex, camera B records the time at 4:07. Fast forwarding a little bit, Kohberger drives to the back parking lot away from other residences. He takes a few minutes looking around and sees that nobody's out and that all is quiet. He eventually grabs his things, gets out of the vehicle, and begins walking to the back of the home. At approximately 4:13 a.m., he begins to make entry. As he steps in, he takes a minute to make sure everything is quiet and that nobody is truly up. He walks to the entrance of the living room and looks around. He continues to be cautious and stands there listening. Feeling confident, he continues upstairs. As he makes his way to Maddie's room, the time is about 4:14. Meanwhile, 2 minutes later, Xana takes a break from TikTok and walks into the kitchen. Evidence shows her activity on the app stopped at 4:16. As she enters the kitchen, she's a little shocked to see the sliding glass door wide open. And at the same time, she hears a serious commotion going on upstairs. Hey everyone, I don't usually ask, but I'm building a small production company to bring you more exciting stories. And I'd love
I'm
your
gonna let her
support.
talk to you.
If you'd like to help out and get some cool perks, or own the 3D model file I created for this animation, please send me a DM and then drop a hashtag #ASGET in the comments so I know to look for your messages. Your support truly means the world to me. Thank you. Picking up where we left off, a source revealed that Xana's phone recorded steps and elevation change, which is how it's known she went to the kitchen and the 3rd floor. When she walked up to Maddie's doorway, she interrupted Kohberger, who had just finished an intense battle with Kaylee, who fought back violently. After a second or two, he notices her, and then she turns away. Being dark, Xana didn't realize what she was seeing other than a shadowy figure. Out of fear, she quickly leaves. A single source, unaffiliated with the media, claims Kohberger injured Xana on the 3rd floor hallway, leaving evidence of blood there. But this single source of information has not been validated by any more sources. Continuing, Kohberger, without thinking, pursues her all the way to her room, not realizing he had dropped the sheath of his knife. When he gets to the room, he attacks Xana, and the time is precisely 4:17:30. We know this because of camera A captured the sound of screaming and the thud. After attacking Xana, Kohberger focuses his attention on Ethan and attacks him while he slept. Afterwards, Kohberger must have sat down in a chair according to a report, which found blood smears on Xana's chair, perhaps from the exhaustion of what he had just done. This source also says that blood from the 2 roommates upstairs were found in Xana's room, showing that it was one person moving from one room to another. Kohberger sitting down was for less than 30 seconds. As he gets up to leave, Dylan, hearing the commotion from Xana's room, gets up out of bed and goes to her door to look out into the hallway. She freezes and sees Kohberger as he walks by and exits through the kitchen. She immediately closes and locks her door and retreats to her bed. Within 20 seconds of the encounter, she's calling and texting her roommates, but no one is responding. It takes Kohberger a minute and a half to get to his vehicle after the encounter with Dylan. But once in his car, he flees the scene at a high rate of speed and exits the neighborhood at 4:20. Dylan continues trying to reach someone in the house. And after 3 minutes of trying, Bethany wakes up and responds to the calls. They converse for 3 minutes, and then Beth convinces Dylan to come downstairs. The time is now 4:26 a.m. Cautiously, Dylan walks into the hallway and through the living room. As she approaches the staircase, she can see into Xana's room and sees her laying on the floor. She then runs quickly downstairs to Beth's room, where they lock the door and for several hours continuously try contacting the other roommates. Back to when Kohberger left the neighborhood, he drove a particular route that would exit onto a road that leads straight to Washington state line. And about that same time that Dylan runs to Beth's room, Kohberger is entering Washington state. This is all part of Kohberger's pre-planning, including finding a place to stop and get rid of any evidence. This place here fits that planning. This area here, pointed out by the arrow, is a little group of trees with a small area that you can park a car on. This is what it looks like from the road. At 4:30 in the morning, while changing clothes and getting cleaned up at this location, one could feel completely safe while being able to see the headlights of a car coming from miles away. As this pivots around, you can see how this is out in the middle of nowhere, and a pre-dug hole near some of these trees would hide forever any evidence that Kohberger was trying to get rid of. It's important to remember that Kohberger was studying criminal behavior and the legal system. This would have motivated him to plan things to the smallest of details, like plastic on the seats to conceal DNA, or crossing state lines because the jurisdiction of one area would take hours to get assistance from the other. He's also smart enough to know that this 10-minute stop would likely never be on the radar of the authorities, especially after he crosses back into Idaho and then turns his phone back on. Let's pick back up where we left off at his 10-minute stop. He continues on with his
She's going to go somewhere with that, so just
plan,
yeah.
knowing that he's completely cleaned up and that there's no evidence to tie him to any of the crime if he were pulled over at this point. After getting on Highway 95 and turning south, he turns his phone back on at 4:48 a.m. This section of Kohberger's travels comes from his cell phone data extraction. Let's orientate ourselves onto this map and get a better understanding of the timing. Kohberger leaves Kings Road residence at 4:21 a.m. Just 8 minutes later, he arrives at his stopping point where he gets rid of all the evidence. After the cleanup, he then drives back into Idaho and turns his phone back on, which occurs near a town named Blaine. This was referenced in the arrest affidavit along with the next town called Uniontown. The last place to reference is where he's seen on cameras near his apartment at 5:25 a.m. Using Google tools, we can get accurate timing information. This entire route took 54 minutes. If we add the 10 minutes stopping time to that, it would be an hour and 4 minutes. Now, if you add that hour and 4 minutes to the time he left King Road, it would equal 5:25 a.m., the same time the camera captures him on the cameras near Washington State University. The last thing to compare is this part of the route, which has a reported time of 38 minutes to drive without any stopping. Bringing back the time record and adding in the second leg information of 38 minutes, we can now add that time to when he turned his phone back on, which was at 4:48 a.m. After adding the 38 minutes to that time, it gives us 5:26 a.m., nearly the same time that was captured on the campus cameras. Hi, guys.
I thought it was pretty interesting. I didn't want to talk. I was like trying not to talk through it because there's a like certain spots I was like, I want to say something here, but I wanted to like make sure you guys got to see it. But there's some interesting spots because she said that she's getting her information from like Dateline, Netflix. Like it sounds like she personally got the information from them. I know that she says in here that she did the animation for Dateline. So maybe that's how she's getting some of her information. And then maybe she's just using Google Maps and was like retracing his route. Because I guess there is an extra like 10 minutes on there that she can account for it if he were to stop, and maybe bury something or, So we're going to play it again. We'll play it again. And we'll kind of go through it this time a little bit more. And because I had some questions and I was just like, But I thought this was really interesting. And I do have the link for her channel in the chat.
Since Bryan Kohberger pled guilty today.
So we'll just kind of take it up a little bit.
In this illustration, we're going to start at 3:30 a.m. At this time, everyone is asleep except for Xana. Looking inside the home, we can see where everybody was. Starting at the 3rd floor, we can see where Maddie and Kaylee were sleeping. Maddie was sleeping on the edge of the bed, while Kaylee was sleeping near the wall. As we go out and drop down to the 2nd floor, we can see Dylan's room directly under Maddie's room. Continuing across the living room onto the other side of the home, we see Xana's room. She's sitting in bed scrolling on her phone while Ethan sleeps next to her. Minutes ago, she had just finished ordering DoorDash and has all the lights on while she waits. The last roommate to mention is Beth, whose room is on the 1st floor, directly below the living room. As most of them all sleep, Kohberger pulls into the neighborhood for the first time this night at precisely 3:30 a.m. We know this due to a home security camera that captures the intersection and records the coming and going of anybody that enters that neighborhood. As we continue, Kohberger drives past the home and notices that all the lights on the 2nd floor are still on. He drives on and loops around the apartment complex building. Because of the home security timestamp, we're able to know how long it took to drive this path. On his first pass, it took him 2 minutes and 38 seconds, and this is him leaving on the first pass. Now let's look at his next 2 passes and record the times. This is pass 2 of him entering and leaving. And now this is
Just
pass 3
wandering
of him
around.
entering and leaving. When we do the math, we can see how long he took each pass. The last 2 passes were normal without any stopping, but on his first pass, he took an additional 42 seconds to creep by the house or even stop for a time to stare into the windows with the lights on.
Maybe got lost. Going in circles, I don't know.
All this information has been coming from camera A, but there is a second camera located behind the apartment complex building, and we're going to call that camera B, located here. This camera allows us to see how long it took to get from point A to point B, and between the 3 security cameras' data, it took between 35 and 37 seconds. What this means is you didn't stop or park somewhere or go into a different direction. He simply drove straight from point A to point B at regular speed. These times help us understand the DoorDash delivery window. According to court documents, 2 times are noted. One is 3:59 a.m. and the other is 4 a.m. Bringing back our passage chart, we can see that the DoorDash time of 3:59 happens after Kohberger has left the neighborhood and before he returns for his last pass at 4:04. It is possible that the DoorDash driver saw Kohberger as he was parking his car, because a timestamp of 3:59 could be reflected when he took the photo of the food at the front door instead of the time he arrived. So it is possible he witnessed Kohberger staring at the windows as he drove by. Continuing, as the driver leaves, Xana turns off all the lights, sits on her bed, and scrolls on her phone as she eats her food. A few minutes later, Kohberger enters the neighborhood for the last time. But this time, as he drives by the home, he sees all the lights are off.
Okay, so that's the part. Okay, so it's so weird to me that he is making these like he's circling around the house and the lights are on, and then all of a sudden the lights are off, and he just got done circling by the house, right? So how did he think that people would actually be asleep at this time? Right? Like you don't just normally turn the lights off and all of a sudden you're passed out and you're just, sleeping. Like normally it takes you, some time to go to bed. But it seemed like to him, it was like, I'm just going to pass around here for like a half hour, 40 minutes. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, no, it's go time now. And why this night? I wonder, well, why, November 13th? Like, I wonder why.
At the camera B location, he turns around to head back to the residence as shown in this video. When he returns to the front of the house, he does something unusual, so much so that it's noted in the arrest affidavit. On page 6, it states, when the suspect vehicle 1 is in front of Kings Road residence, it appeared to unsuccessfully attempt to park or turn around in the road. It goes on to say that he continued onto the intersection where he did a 3-point turn.
I would have thought he was drunk. That's what I would have thought. I would have been like, I would have pulled him over right away if I was an officer. But there wasn't one right over there. There was some in the area, but not right there at the time.
This 3-point turn was captured on camera A, which has a timestamp of 4:06. He appears to be calm and not overly anxious with his driving.
I think he's kind of anxious with his driving if he's
As he
turning
heads
around.
back in the direction of the residence,
He's going in circles and he's backing up and he's turning and he's, I would say that's a little anxiousy.
he takes one last look at the windows to make sure all the lights are off. As he begins to drive around the end of the apartment complex, camera B records the time of 4:07. Fast forwarding a little bit, Kohberger drives to the back parking lot away from other residences. He takes a few minutes looking around and sees that nobody's out and that all is quiet. He eventually grabs his things, gets out of the vehicle, and begins walking to the back of the home.
So right there, she even says it too. He grabs his things. Like, I wonder if that means a container, like Bill said. Apparently, I don't remember Bill saying that, but he must have said it. I just must not have heard it. But we'll have to go back over that video because I have just that spot too. So I wonder if I don't know why he would bring all that with him though. Like, it seems like that would, you know what I mean, get in the way. Like, I mean, I guess to derobe it, but I don't think he had the intention on getting that messy, right? I think he only had the intention on going in there and probably killing one person. I don't think he had the intention on really killing four. I think okay, let me say this. I think he was like, whatever happens, happens. Because apparently that's what happened. But I don't think that he had the plan, like, oh yeah, I'm going to go in here and I'm going to kill these 4 people, right? I don't think that was like I don't think that was in his plan. I think it just happened that way. I think either Kaylee ran into the bedroom or she was already in the bedroom when he went up there I think he was most likely, I think he was going after Maddie. But when I was reading the Goncalves' statement earlier, it sounded like they thought maybe it was more towards Kaylee, but I'm not sure. So we'll have to read that later too, again, just to get more clarity on that. But I think that, he didn't plan on killing 2 girls up there. I think maybe he thought 1, maybe. I don't even know if maybe, I can't even tell you if he planned on doing that. He said he did. So, but what if he was going there with like the intention of, I mean, this is just bad in my book, is like doing like an assault, right? And he brought the knife with him because he's a dumbass, and for the assault. Maybe he wouldn't want to tell that to a jury or to a judge. Like, he would rather say that he murdered somebody than he was going there to essay somebody. Is that making sense to you guys? Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, like there's some things I think that a boy doesn't want to say in front of his mama. And I don't think that's one. I think that's one of them. So, I mean, but the prosecutor did say that there was no component. Nothing happened like that, which is good. Which is, fortunate. But we'll keep going.
At approximately 4:13 a.m., he begins to make entry. As he steps in, he takes a minute to make sure everything is quiet and that nobody is truly up. He walks to the entrance of the living room and looks around. He continues to be cautious and stands there listening. Feeling confident, he continues upstairs. As he makes his way to Maddie's room, the time is about 4:14. Meanwhile, 2 minutes later, Xana takes a break from TikTok and walks into the kitchen. Evidence shows her activity on the app stopped at 4:16. As she enters the kitchen, she's a little shocked to see the sliding glass door wide open. And at the same time, she hears a serious commotion going on upstairs. Hey everyone, I don't usually ask, but
do you think that he opened? Well, no, he didn't go down to the first floor, though. I was going to say, because they said that the first floor door was open. I was thinking maybe he opened the doors before anything, like just to make sure he had like exits, but I don't think that. Never mind.
I'm building a small production company to bring you more exciting stories.
Yeah,
and I'd love
link
your
in
support.
The chat.
If you'd like to help out and get some cool perks or own the 3D model file I created for this animation, please send me a DM and then drop a hashtag #AsGet in the comments so I know to look for your messages. Your support truly means the world to me. Thank you. Picking up where we left off, a source revealed that Xana's phone recorded steps and elevation change, which is how it...
Okay, so that was another thing too. Was it her phone or her watch? What did she say?
Support truly means the world to me. Thank you. Picking up where we left off, a source revealed that Xana's phone recorded steps and elevation change.
So she had her phone in her hand.
Which is how it's known she went to the kitchen and the 3rd floor. When she walked up to Maddie's doorway, she interrupted Kohberger, who had just finished an intense battle with Kaylee, who fought back violently. After a second or two, he notices her, and then she turns away.
That's a lot of stairs to get up to the third floor. There's like 8 and then like 9 or something like that. I've counted them before. It's been a long time, so I could be wrong on that. Do I have? No, I don't have. I might be able to tell you how many. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you go up 8, and then you got a landing, and then you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Wow. Okay, yeah, I've been covering this case a little too long. So there is 8 and then 9 stairs to the up. So yeah, that would definitely show on a watch. I mean, if it was only like a couple stairs, like, it wouldn't probably show up as much on your like Fitbit or your Apple Watch or whatever you're wearing, or your phone.
Being dark, Xana didn't realize what she was seeing other than a shadowy figure. Out of fear, she quickly leaves. A single source, unaffiliated with the media, claims Kohberger injured Xana on the third floor hallway, leaving evidence of blood there. But this single source of information has not been validated by any more sources. Continuing, Kohberger, without thinking, pursues her all the way to her room, not realizing he had dropped the sheath of his knife.
And I have one more thing. Why was she eating in the dark? Xana, why were you eating in the dark, girl? Why didn't you have a light on? Maybe she had a little light in her bedroom or something that she could turn on, but that's crazy to me. Like, I'll have to look at my food to eat it. I'm too nervous to. I don't trust anything. Thanks, Ishi. Yeah, hit the thumbs up for me. That'd be greatly appreciated.
When he gets to the room, he attacks Xana, and the time is precisely 4:17:30.
Sorry, I have to pause it again so soon. And that's another thing. Like, she had to have made some sort of noise. I'm just so surprised it didn't wake Ethan up. So to me, it was probably pretty quick, right? Even though she fought and everything, it was still, I think, really quick for him to not like hear anything.
We know this because of camera A captured the sound of screaming and the thud. After attacking Xana, Kohberger focuses his attention on Ethan and attacks him while he slept. Afterwards, Kohberger must have sat down in a chair according to a report, which found blood smears on Xana's chair, perhaps from the exhaustion of what he had just done. This source also says that blood from the 2 roommates upstairs were found in Xana's room, showing that it was one person moving from one room to another. Kohberger sitting down was for less than 30 seconds.
So it showed one person moving from one room to another. She made sure she put that in there,
Seconds. As he gets up to leave, Dylan, hearing the commotion from Xana's room, gets up out of bed and goes to her door to look out into the hallway.
And do you see how like that corner just kind of, you can just round about that corner and not even like see Dylan? I think that's probably what happened, or he did see her and he was just exhausted and he was just like, I'm out of here. But I think if he did see her, he would have just taken the chance and tried to like unalive her and kill her. You know what I mean? I think that he already did 3. At least we know of 2 other people. I think the 3 other people. Yeah, Ethan was out like trout. Is she? I was thinking, man, I hope they had a really good night. Like before all this hell came about them. Because it does seem from like all reports and everything, and from the blood seeping out of the house, down the back of the house, it seems like Ethan was just like in the bed. Like that's where he kind of stayed to. Maybe he fell in between the wall and the bed, but he was in that area, I think, the whole time.
She freezes and sees Kohberger as he walks by and exits through the kitchen. She immediately closes and locks her door and retreats to her bed. Within 20 seconds of the encounter, she's calling and texting her roommates, but no one is responding. It takes Kohberger a minute and a half to get to his vehicle after the encounter with Dylan. But once in his car, he flees the scene at a high rate of speed and exits the neighborhood at 4:20.
A minute and a half, you could get, like, if you needed to, you could take your like little Dickie suit off in a minute and a half, and boots or whatever you're wearing, and then put all that together somewhere. And then whatever you're wearing underneath, it should be pretty much stain free. We'll never
Dylan
know.
continues trying to reach someone in the house.
Well, I think we will.
And after 3 minutes of trying, Bethany wakes up in response to the calls. They converse for 3 minutes, and then Beth convinces Dylan to come downstairs. The time is now 4:26 a.m. Cautiously, Dylan walks into the hallway and through the living room. As she approaches the staircase, she can see into Xana's room and sees her laying on the floor. She then runs quickly downstairs to Beth's room, where they lock the door and for several hours continuously try contacting the other roommates. Back to when Kohberger left the neighborhood, he drove a particular route that would exit onto a road that leads straight to Washington state line. And about that same time that Dylan runs to Beth's room, Kohberger is entering Washington state. This is all part of Kohberger's pre-planning, including finding a place to stop and get rid of any evidence. This place here fits that planning. This area here, pointed out by the arrow, is a little group of trees with a small area that you can park a car on. This is
Okay, we need JLR to go get a metal detector. We need him to go out here and metal detect. See what he finds. I mean, it's not that big of a spot, right? I mean, that's what, I mean, wasn't there somebody that was doing that actually? Like a team of people? Like cadets or something? They were going to go from the crime scene back to Kohberger's house and they were going to look all along, which I mean, we're probably 2.5 years too late, but you never know. We need JLR on it. I bet you JLR will find it if it's there. He'll just holler at it and it'll just come up out of the ground. But he would probably go out there and look.
what it looks like from the road. At 4:30 in the morning, while changing clothes and getting cleaned up at this location, one could feel completely safe while being able to see the headlights of a car coming from miles away. As this pivots around, you can see how this is out in the middle of nowhere, and a pre-dug hole near some of these trees would hide forever any evidence that Kohberger was trying to get rid of. It's important to remember that Kohberger was studying criminal behavior and the legal system. This would have motivated him to plan things to the smallest of details, like plastic on the seats to conceal DNA, or crossing state lines because the jurisdiction of one area would take hours to get assistance from the other. He's also smart enough to know that this 10-minute stop would likely never be on the radar of the authorities, especially after he crosses back into Idaho and then turns his phone back on. Let's pick back up where we left off at his 10-minute stop. He continues on with his plan, knowing that he's completely cleaned up and that there's no evidence to tie him to any of the crime if he were pulled over at this point. After getting on Highway 95 and turning south, he turns his phone back on at 4:48 a.m. This section of Kohberger's travels comes from his cell phone data extraction. Let's orientate ourselves onto this map and get a better understanding of the timing. Kohberger leaves Kings Road residence at 4:21 a.m. Just 8 minutes later, he arrives at his stopping point where he gets rid of all the evidence. After the cleanup, he then drives back into Idaho and turns his phone back on, which occurs near a town named Blaine. This was referenced in the arrest affidavit along with the next town called Uniontown. The last place to reference is where he's seen on cameras near his apartment at 5:25 a.m. Using Google tools, we can get accurate timing information. This entire route took 54 minutes. If we add the 10 minutes stopping time to that, it would be an hour and 4 minutes. Now, if you add that hour and 4 minutes to the time he left King Road, it would equal 5:25 a.m. The same time the camera captures him
I like how she's breaking this down because I need it like this.
on the cameras near Washington State University. The last thing to compare is this part of the route, which has a reported time of 38 minutes to drive without any stopping. Bringing back the time record and adding in the second leg information of 38 minutes, we can now add that time to when he turned his phone back on, which was at 4:48 a.m.
She's going crazy. She's buffering.
Hi guys, since
I won't make you watch the whole thing again. We're right
at
there.
4:48 a.m. After adding the 38 minutes to that time, it gives us 5:26 a.m., nearly the same time that was captured on the campus cameras.
Okay. So, I don't know why I didn't go to the next tab, but I didn't. But I thought that was pretty interesting, and I put Asget's video link in the chat multiple times, so you guys should be able to get it. Yeah. So let's go over to the Goncalves page. Actually, let me share this with you guys because I keep forgetting. I have to share it on. It's like I have to share this different screen, so it's a different window. But one of our subscribers, I don't know if Kaylee's in the chat or not tonight, but she's local to the area, and she went and she made an awesome video for me just driving through the area. It was after the house was demoed, but you can still see like the area, and you'll be able to see like where Kohberger, came into the neighborhood and how he kind of like circled around the house. You'll be able to get a feel for it in the daytime. So we'll watch that really quick. And let me see, let's see if I could like turn the volume down, but I don't know if it's right here. I'm like, how do I turn the volume down? But this is like Sigma Chi right over here to the right. And then I'm just going to turn here. I can hear fireworks outside. Oh, sorry. Okay. I was off a road. Just like every once in a while, I hear like 1 or 2 fireworks and that's it. Okay. So there's the, oops, I didn't mean to do that. Okay. What am I doing? Okay. I'm going all the way back to the beginning because I did not know what I was just doing. I wanted to show you this house. Okay. So this is the house that had the camera on it. That picked him up. Doesn't look like there's like more cars there. Like there's like nowhere to park. And this would have been the parking lot that he parked up in. She's just going like the opposite way. Hey, Kaylee, thank you for making this. I was like, I tried to look it up the other night. I couldn't find it. And I was like, I know it's somewhere in here. And those apartments, they need to change the ugly color. I mean, I know the university colors are yellow, but not yellow and blue. Aren't they like yellow and white? Like that blue door? Oh my Lord. You did such a good job though on this. Like if I were to be recording, my camera would be everywhere. I'm not good. I'm not still. And then that was like the end of it there, pretty much. Thank you for sharing that with me. They're shooting fireworks up here too. Yeah, like they're going to town. I wonder where would they be at? I don't even know. Just don't be messing with my ducks, okay? My ducks are out there. Like they're mine or something. I feel like they are. So I saw this interview with Howard Bloom. I know, but he made some points and I was like, it was making me think a little bit. So I thought I'd go over it with you guys. But it's Howard Bloom and Nate Eaton from East Idaho News. He does a good job, I think. So let me actually stop sharing that. And if you guys don't mind, and take a second, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We do talk true crime every night here on this channel. We are here every night at 9:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I was actually going to ask you guys that today. Like, do you guys know of anybody else in true crime that comes on the same time every day? Because I couldn't think of anyone. Like the same time. I'm usually here at 9. I'm usually here on the 9:15. Sometimes it's a little later, 9:35, but usually 9:15. But I was like, dang, you could set your clock to me. You literally could. You literally could. But thanks for being here. I appreciate it. I do appreciate you guys so much for being here tonight. And we will go ahead and we'll listen to a little bit of this and we'll see what they have to say. And then tomorrow on the live, I want to do I forgot what I was going to say. I wanted to do something during the day, but I don't know if I'll have time. I'm going to try to do something during the day. if I have time. If not, tomorrow night I'll be back on at 9:15. But or no, actually tomorrow night I won't be because we'll be watching fireworks. So I'll let you know about tomorrow night. But I'm gonna try to be on at least like during the day, if not. So because you know me. I'll be like, what do I do if I don't come online? Okay, so here's Nate Eaton. I like him. I like his personality. He brings on Howard Bloom, and then Howard Bloom was just making some remarks like in the beginning when I was watching this. I was like, huh, very interesting about Bryan Kohberger's mom and stuff. We should go back through his book and see what he was correct about and what he wasn't. I'll have to go back through the book.
So from there, I want to bring in an
read it.
expert who has really focused and done a deep dive in this case. He wrote a book, actually. Howard Bloom is his name. I've interviewed him before. The name of the book is When the Night Comes Calling, a requiem to the Idaho student murders. He's been following this case from the beginning. He was shocked when the plea agreement came down. And I just wanted to get his thoughts and his takeaways and what he's learning behind the scenes about what may have led to this plea agreement. And so here, I just finished speaking with Howard a moment ago. Here is our conversation. First of all, I'd love to hear your thoughts when you heard that a plea agreement had been reached. Were you surprised?
I wasn't surprised. I was shocked. I didn't see this coming because the prosecution was holding all the cards. I don't understand why they would have agreed to a plea deal. They had a pretty tight case, and it seemed like they were moving gung-ho forward. The judge had just ruled in their favor. The Kohberger team wasn't going to be able to introduce the alternate perpetrator theory. He threw it out completely. He threw out the alibi defense. It looks like they were sitting pretty for a courtroom victory. And yet, I think at the end of the day, the prosecutor, Bill Thompson, just wanted to move on.
So did you think that the
I
defense...
I don't know about that. I don't think that's what it was. I don't think Bill Thompson wanted to move on. No. What's 3 more months? What the hell is 3 more months of a trial? And it probably wouldn't even take a whole 3 months, right? So like, I mean, I don't think so. I don't think that Bill did this. Like the more I think about it, I don't think he just did it just to get out of it. Like, I mean, it's 3 months, dude. Like you said you was ready to go to trial. Why not make some more money? Anne can make some more money. We all go to trial, right? I mean, it's crazy to me. It's just, y'all should have went to trial. Y'all should have went, and you should have seen this thing all the way through. All the way through.
After all of these things,
even if the DP was taken off the table or whatever, like it shouldn't have went down like it went down.
Things came out, were rejected by the judge, that they were the ones that said, okay, we have done everything we can. Now we'll ask for it? Or do you think they may have been kind of strategizing for several months to get here?
Here's what my reporting has shown.
I'm going to cut him off. I'm going to tell you what I think. I think that Anne tried to do the alibi defense. It didn't work. I think she tried to bring in the alternate perpetrator defense, and that didn't work. Then she tried to get a continuance. And when that didn't work, all of that fell last week on Thursday. They went in Friday and they started talking about a plea deal. And then Monday, it came out. And then on Wednesday, they were sitting in court doing the actual plea deal. Like, I don't even know how people got a plane ticket out there.
The defense, pretty early on, I think, realized that their case had holes in it. As soon as that alibi came out, and Bryan Kohberger's alibi was basically that he was driving in a wilderness park at 4 a.m, looking at the stars on a cloudy night when it was freezing. They had to realize that didn't hold much water. They never tried to start screaming from the rooftops, get my client out of jail. We have an innocent man here. He has to be released. They realized that they have real problems with the case. But Ann Taylor, to her credit, she has to defend her client. She tried to throw everything out there that she could. There's an old legal saying, when you have the facts, you pound the facts. When you don't have the facts, you pound the table. And she was pounding the table pretty well for 2.5 years. But at the end of the day, she just didn't have anything left to pound. The judge said, enough already. We're going to have to go to trial. And she did an inventory of what she had. And she had nothing. And her problem all along, and this is again reporting I've been doing, her client, Bryan Kohberger, every time he was approached, nixed a plea deal largely because of his mother. His mother was opposed to it. His mother said, we want to have our day in court. She thought somehow that this would all be resolved in her son's favor. Then,
Well, if that's the case, she probably had her son telling her, Mom, I didn't do this. Mom, I didn't do this. Me, Bryan, your little angel, I didn't do this. I bet you that's what he was saying to his parents the last 2+ years. Up until, I bet you, the very end. And then he was like, hey, yeah, I did this. I don't even think he said that. He probably just said, I need you guys to get on a plane out here. He probably hadn't asked him to do that prior to this. You know what I mean? Like, I think it was something like that. And they were just like, yeah, they knew, like, okay, he's going to plead guilty. Because I did hear Bryan Enton, he had a seat right behind the parents. And I guess he didn't see any tears or anything. Like, they were just kind of like he said that it didn't even look like Bryan acknowledged that they were even in the courtroom.
After the two latest motions were thrown out, the alternate perpetrator and the alibi defense, something else became clear to the defense team, and they shared this with Bryan Kohberger. Bryan Kohberger's mother very possibly could have had to go on the stand and discuss what was said during a telephone call that her son made at 6 o'clock in the morning, Idaho time, approximately 2 hours after the murders.
I thought that phone call was made to his father. He called his dad. He didn't call his mom. We heard Michael Kohberger, not Mary Ann. He called his dad. It was in the Dateline episode. So Howard, you're wrong there. I think he did call his dad. And I think he probably called and said, I think he probably was like, I need you to come out and get me. I want to come home for Christmas.
She would have to say what she heard, what was her impression, what she felt her son was talking about. And Bryan Kohberger was told that this could incriminate your mother, perhaps, and perhaps
Mom
put
answered,
her in
okay.
legal jeopardy. And
Wow.
I think that weighed a lot on him. He also was told that his father would be put on the stand and have to discuss what happened during their cross-country trip from Washington State University back to Pennsylvania during the Christmas vacation period of 2022.
Can't his parents plead the fifth? Like, I don't know how that works. Like with your kid, like to self-incriminate. Like, I mean, you don't want to incriminate your son, but I mean, at the same, I don't know how that works. We need a lawyer.
I discussed this a great deal in my book, What Went On.
We'll look into that.
It's hard to get the specific bits of the conversation, but think about it. Here was Bryan Kohberger's father sitting shoulder to shoulder in a Hyundai Elantra for 4 days with his son. He knows every cop in the country is looking for a white Hyundai Elantra, just like the car he happens to be in. He knows his son lives 10 miles away from the murder scene.
Okay, I looked it up. AI says, anyway, it says, in most cases, parents can be compelled to testify against their children and vice versa. Though some jurisdictions may offer limited protections, there is no universal parent-child privilege in the U.S. So it says, meaning that generally parents can be forced to testify against their children, and children can be forced to testify against their parents in criminal or civil proceedings. So, okay.
He knows his son has had behavioral issues, been a heroin addict. He was concerned enough about his son to want to go out to Washington State. When he first went out there, he went with him, he accompanied him, and now he's driving back with him again, 3 months later. So I think the parents had a sense of what was happening, and they were going to be put on the stand by the prosecution and asked specific questions. And they made it clear, Ann Taylor's team made it clear to Kohberger that might not be a position you want to put your parents in.
Howard, do you know the contents of that 6 a.m. call with his mom?
I sure wish I did.
Yeah.
I think no one knows it about but Bryan Kohberger and his parents, and I think the prosecution was going to try to find out on the stand and make a situation that might have been uncomfortable. There also has been previous reporting that I've done that Bryan Kohberger's sister, back in their home in Pennsylvania, after Bryan and the father returned from this Christmas vacation trip, was suspicious about her brother's behavior, the way he was cleaning the car, putting his garbage into plastic bags, and she confronted the father. What?
I don't think she saw him putting the stuff in the plastic baggies. I think he was doing that at night under the cover of everyone asleep. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I think Howard, I think you're elaborating a little here.
What's going on? This is a white Hyundai.
But we did hear that she did have, like, one of the sisters did say something, I guess, about Bryan cleaning his car, like, in great detail. And she was like, well, he does live like 10 minutes from there. Now, I don't know how true that is. That was from like one of the Dateline episodes, I believe. I don't know if she would know that Pullman was, 10 or 15 minutes from Moscow. Like, I don't know if they would know that out in PA. Like, I don't see Bryan being like, yeah, I live 10 minutes from Moscow, Idaho. Like, do you know what I mean? I don't know.
They're looking for a white Hyundai. And the father's reaction, as I heard it, was just to walk out of the room. That was a moment that was too large for him to confront.
He was like, see ya.
Throughout this case, there's been so many perplexing mysteries, and they're largely because of the moments become too large for people to confront. Psychologists would call this cognitive dissonance. I mean, I got a B- in psychology, so I'm certainly no authority on cognitive dissonance, but it would seem that way for the two young women who were, in the survivors of the murder house. For the Kohberger family, it's just a difficult situation to deal with, and your heart goes out to all these people in these situations, and they don't respond in reasonable, rational ways.
When the prosecutor today laid out just a surface overview of what they had intended their case to be, as far as the timeline and Kohberger's movements and the cell phone and all of that, we had actually seen a lot of that in Dateline a few weeks ago, the Dateline that caused the big kerfuffle with the judge and all of that. Do you think that and the media coverage played into this plea agreement at all, or was this going to happen regardless of how much media attention this got?
I mean, Ann Taylor had seen everything that was in the Dateline episode beforehand. She had gotten the discovery. I have to say, for the record, I was part of that Dateline team that did that, so I can't go into too much about it. But it was all out there, and Ann Taylor knew, the prosecution knew. What I thought when he presented his case, what I found interesting, he kept on, from time to time, making caveats. He said, well, we don't have all this evidence. He said, we're in the vicinity of the murder house, but we can't say he went into the murder house. Yeah. He was trying to, I think, tacitly make the case for his taking a plea deal, that he might have lost the case.
There might have been some openings or some moments of doubt. Yeah.
Right. Reasonable doubt for the juror. I think that's a very pragmatic way, and it's not the way one expects a prosecutor to go forward after 2.5 years when he certainly had enough evidence. And most disturbingly, we're going to be left with so many questions, so many things we'll just never know. And they added to that today too, another thing that I found particularly disturbing. They let the gag order stay in place until September 23rd, after the sentencing hearing. So after it's all done, well, then people can talk, but then they hope it's too late. To go on a bit, from the very beginning, I believe this has been a case that the state of Idaho would have liked to just see disappear. Look at all the people involved in the case. Judge, as soon as he got an opportunity, he was the first judge based in Moscow, who had an opportunity to leave the case. He moved it to Boise, and then he just left. He said, "Take it away from me. I don't want a part of this."
Yeah.
The chief of police, Judge Fry, as soon as he could, he retired. As soon as Kohberger, he didn't want a piece of this. Judge Hippler, the first day he takes the stand, he says, "I'd like to say I'm happy to be here, but I'm not." He wanted this to go away. Even the University of Idaho, what did they do with the murder house? Let's get rid of it. Let's make believe this never happened, as if people would forget. So I think, this has been one more push to let's move on. But the reality is, the tragedy is that I don't think people in Idaho are going to move on. I don't think people in Moscow are going to move on. And certainly the surviving families are not going to move on.
Yeah, the thing about having a trial, especially one of this length, is you get to see all of the evidence. You get to hear from witnesses that now we may never even know their names, people that may have seen things or known things that unless they decide to publicly come forward and say, "I was there," it's hard to get the whole picture because there is no trial. Now, on the other hand, though, you save millions of dollars, and some of the families have said they're glad, they want to move forward. Others are not happy with this plea agreement. So it's kind of a mixed thing. I think one of the main things I'm hearing, I'm sure you are too, is just how rushed this was. I mean, 4 days ago, this was going to trial, and here we are on a Wednesday afternoon, and it's not. It's done, except for sentencing.
I mean, you raise a very valid point. They're just trying to get this off the table. Let's move on. We got the holiday break. July 23rd, we'll have the sentencing, and then we can all move on. We're going to keep the gag order in place until after the sentencing, so no one can find out anything in the interim. And then after July 23rd, when the gag order will be released, well, then reporters can go out and maybe they can find something. Maybe people won't be interested. I think that's what the prosecution is hoping.
Let me ask you, Howard, there's a lot of serial killers, murderers, high profile people that seek the attention and that do interviews or, are out there. Does Bryan Kohberger strike you as one of those? I mean, do you think we'll ever hear from him in a prison interview or in writings that he releases, or is he going to go away and live in prison and be quiet?
My opinion is we're going to hear a great deal from him. This is a guy who I believe thinks he's the smartest person in the room. I think he'll have insights to share. And I
think if anybody makes him feel like he's the smartest person in the world, he'll talk to him. Yeah, and I think that's going to be Ramsland. Do you think he did this because do you think he got the idea from me?
I think he'll be bored still.
No wonders why they told her to shut her mouth 2.5 years ago.
He'll want to talk. He'll want to bring in Dr. Catherine Ramsland, his own professor, to talk to him. I'm going to send him my email address. I'm always available, Brian. You want to tell what really happened? I'd love to tell it. I think he might not hear from him for 6 months, but you're going to be sitting in that cell for the next 40 years. He's going to have to fill his time. And I think people are going to come to him. I think criminal justice professors, students, authors, all going to be there, flocking to his door.
I'm going to go then.
Well, how are you going to fill your time now?
We need to write a letter. Guess we're going to have to do that, write a letter and say, hey, when can we come visit you? And when can we get this whole story? I would do it. I don't do interviews. I'm no Diane Sawyer. I tell you that all the time, but I would do it.
But you have 3 months to not go to a trial.
Well, fortunately, I like telling stories. I really don't go into true crime. I signed for another book a couple of months ago. I'm doing a new book about the stranded astronauts who were up in space. Something completely different. Ron Howard is involved for the movie production of this. So I'll be spending my time in Houston this summer rather than Idaho.
Oh, wow. Well, we'll have to have you back to talk about that book. That sounds fascinating. Anything that you want to add, Howard? Anything that you think the public should know about this case, or kind of your overall takeaway today after this flurry of events this week?
I was, annoyed by several things. At one point, Ann Taylor was asked, she had to agree to every question the judge asked, and he asked her about discovery. Are you satisfied with that you've received all the discovery information? She's filed 2 major motions about not receiving sufficient discovery. Suddenly, he asked her today, there's sort of a pregnant pause, but then she agrees. Was she being honest? Was before a contrivance? When is the truth? Also think about her associate, Miss Massoud. Miss Massoud at times had put her arm around Bryan in the courtroom hearings and said it's an honor to defend him. Perhaps she maybe owes the families an apology. Then we go to Bill Thompson, his crying at the end when he finishes his recitation of the case history.
Yeah.
To me, that seemed like a bit of courtroom theater.
Thank you, Howard Bloom. I agree with you there. I do. I agree with you. Because if he was really sincere, he would have had tears or a lump in his throat the whole time he was reading that. It wouldn't have been at the end when he's reading off their names and that's it. Like, I don't know. That to me felt like it was forced. It was a little fake. I've seen better dramatics in my high school drama class, but
Bill Thompson, that I've seen, that I've heard, that I've researched, is a tough prosecutor. I think he was trying to show that even though things were done in such a hasty way, even a cavalier way by just sending an email to the families involved, he was deeply touched. He was trying to convey this. I think it was more theater than sincerity. I hope I'm wrong.
I noticed all of those moments that you mentioned, true, especially when the judge was asking Ann Taylor those questions. And then I think the public that has paid close attention to this may think, well, wait, has this all just been a game? Is it, well, what's going on here? As you said, these motions that we're not getting discovery, these arguments, you need to block this or block this. And then here we are again, 4 days later. And yep, it's all right.
I mean, Ann Taylor filed a motion when she was asking for continuance that buried on page 30 was something I found really interesting. She said trials are basically story building. Each side tries to build a story and then convince the jurors that their story is true. And it's a very candid but very cynical approach to American justice.
But that's how it is.
We've seen another episode in the story building today.
Yeah.
We usually just have like evidence, and the story is usually a little better. I think this is the end of the interview.
Well, thank you.
Okay, yeah. Well, thank you, Howard Bloom. See ya. Have fun in Houston. Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you. Take Ramslin with you if you want. She could be like your, I don't know. I was going to make a reference, but I don't know if anyone would have got it. So. But oh my good golly, are you okay? That's my dog throwing herself on the floor. I don't know if you heard that. It was like thump. Man. I like Nate Eaton. I like the way that he does things. He's good. Oh, actually, I wanted to show you the post from the Goncalves family before we go off here. I guess Chloe said that in the chat they're kind of going silent, and I think they should. I think they should take some time to absorb everything that's going on. I did watch the interview that Ashley Banfield had with him last night, and it was heartbreaking. It was really heartbreaking. I mean, he was apologizing to his daughter. Like, he really reminds me a lot of my dad. Like the way he acts and the way that he reminds me a lot. Like in your face and but very emotional at the same time, and letting your emotions kind of get the better of you in some situations. That would have been my dad. But they did put this on their Facebook page. This was a few hours ago. But it just says, "Friends, we are home. Thank you for all your support, love, and prayers. This page is a place of comfort for me." I think this is Christy writing this, by the way. "My safe place. You all have been with me for years now and have always stood right next to me. I will forever be grateful. I am sorry if you don't agree with our recent decisions on the plea deal. BK literally is too afraid to die, but he wasn't afraid to kill. BK wanted a plea deal and he was given one. Kaylee wasn't offered a plea deal. The state is showing BK mercy by removing the death penalty. BK did not show Kaylee any mercy. People tell us we should be happy with life in prison without parole as he will never get out. How is that not a win, they ask? Well, the death penalty also means life on death row. We know it would be decades before he would ever face the firing squad. We knew that his execution was not going to happen anytime soon, but his life on death row was, while serving his time, would have been much worse than serving his time as life in prison. He doesn't deserve life in prison. He doesn't deserve life on death row. Or I'm sorry, he deserves life on death row. Also, people say that the Goncalveses don't want justice. They want vengeance. Well, let me ask you a question about that. If your 21-year-old daughter was sleeping in her bed and BK went into her house with the intention to kill her, and he did, by stabbing her many times as well as beating her in the face and head while it was clear that she fought for her life, what would you want? Justice or vengeance? So does that mean Kaylee was the target? I don't know. But people, where were we at? Okay, maybe a little of both. I'm curious how you all would feel. It gets so old having people say we want vengeance and we make it sound like we are animals for having those feelings. I just find it so hard. So many people are judging us and they have never stepped foot in our shoes. Many people are talking about our GoFundMe and returning everyone's money. I don't know who's doing that, but like it's too soon to be doing that. Whoever said that, I hope karma comes for you. Because this part makes me really sad when I read it earlier. But it says, I understand this is a priority for many people. Please give me time to figure out the best way to do this. I can't just ask GoFundMe to reimburse everyone as the money has already been deposited into my bank account. And I'm sure they've already put down payments on the Airbnbs and all of that, rental cars, all that kind of stuff, right? Or they paid up bills ahead of time for their house. So they may have to be like, okay, we got to take a step back, collect all this money that we are, you know what I mean, for people that, for the GoFundMe to give it back or whatever. But you need time to be able to cancel places and all that. You're not going to want to do that as soon as you find out the person that killed your daughter is going to just spend life on, you know, and in prison. So for people to say this, like, give them time. Like, and don't ever, ever, ever donate money with the expectation of getting something for it. Don't ever do it. Don't expect even a thank you. If you're giving something to somebody, I mean, I would hope they say thank you. That's the, you know, manners, hello manners. But I'm just saying, like, if you're donating, you're doing it out of the kindness of your heart because you care about that person or you care about the cause, right? It's just crazy to me. I'm getting off my soapbox, sorry. But it says, please give me time to figure out the best way to do this. I already read that part. It says, but it's no longer being held by GoFundMe. Steve and I need a few days alone to process what has just happened. It is so hard to describe what we are going through right now. It is very mentally and emotionally exhausting. My whole body aches from my fingertips to my toes. Please give us grace. I promise we won't skip town. We know you guys won't. And whoever said I donated money, I want it back. I what? Like, what? And there was so many people saying, and I'm just gonna say it right now. There were so many people giving them shit about that GoFundMe. They're getting paid. They're getting paid. I'm sure that they would give all that money to have their daughter here, right? Nobody wants to have to leave their house and go down to Boise, Idaho for court for 3 months. No one wants to do that, right? No one wants to do that. I wouldn't. Right, is she? Thank you for the $4.99. She said they shouldn't have to answer for that. If I give money, I give it. No one is harassing Seth for what he's done with his funds. Yep. Not a word, not a peep, not nothing. And 12,000 went to Michaela, a woman that was. Oh my Lord, have mercy. I was thinking about Sebastian the other day. Actually, it's crazy. That's another case, Right, Vicky? I hope that, like, I don't know. I know that their comment section was full of people saying, like, "Don't give the money back. We don't want our money back." Like, things like that nature. So, I really hope if people really want their money back, I hope that they can just step forward and be like, "It was me." And I hope that the Gonzalez put them on blast and put their picture out there with their name and put how much they know donated. Be like, I gave Peter back his $20 he donated to me back in 2023. Like, it's just crazy. So, I was gonna say something else about. Oh, yeah. And please, if you're a creator, cover this case with dignity. I mean, just be a little prepared for a live. I mean, have a couple tabs open, maybe like a couple pictures, maybe a document or two, you know, maybe know the address, maybe know some stuff, the documents. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like it's been crazy in the last few days. Oh, well, it seems like Screen thought that she was like, well, if Bryan or she said if Bryan wants to do a book with her, she's all for it. That's what I heard. And I was just like, oh, already hasn't even pled guilty yet. It was the day before he pled. And I was like, oh, dang. And then I heard last night, one of you guys told me that her lawyers told her to shut her mouth. And I was like, well, that's probably a good idea. I mean, actually, they are authentic, good people. They really are. And if Steve does not put the mutton chops back on his face, I want the mustache or I want a full Manchu or something because he just looks like business when he has that. Oh, I read it, True Crime Unleashed, the other night. I cried when I read it. And that was genuine. And that's the difference. Like that was genuine. Like I was reading that and I didn't read it beforehand and that was my fault. Usually I'll read something beforehand, but we just happened to be on the Facebook and it was just sad because she said they're not just the Idaho 4. And that like broke me that day. That was like the thing that I had to turn my camera off. I had to blow my nose. I was tearing up. I was like, well, I came into this case crying. I'm going out crying. Like, that's what I thought. I felt like that though the other day. Right? The emotions get too much. Like, and I have a lot of care for these students, but if I knew or I thought that Bryan didn't do this, I would have, said something a long time ago. I'd have been like, I don't think he'd do this. But everything to me seemed like it was going in that direction. I thought maybe they would have more evidence. Maybe they did. Maybe they do. Maybe we'll find out when they release everything. The non-dissemination order will be lifted on July 23rd when the after the victims do their impact statements and he hears a sentencing. But he already knows what he's sentenced to. So I don't even know why they're having a sentencing really, other than just to have the victim impact statements. They're going to do that on the 23rd starting at 9 a.m. So we'll be streaming that, of course, and then we'll be listening to that. And then I have a FOIA in for the documents. So as soon as they come out, I should get them in an email. I'll check my emails tomorrow to see if they wrote me or anything. Make sure I did it all correctly. I should have. What else? I have like my notes here I'm looking at. Tomorrow I'm going to come on, even if it's just for a minute for like a members giveaway, just to do that. Because I didn't put up my Nightbot tonight and I wanted to do my Nightbot. They can try to do civilly. I think they can try to sue like Bryan Kohberger, but I like for funeral expenses and stuff like that, that they won't, I don't think they'll get anything out of him. I mean, he was just a student that was getting his schooling pretty much paid for. Yeah, I agree, Victoria. I just thought maybe they'd have a little more like I thought there would be like a shocker or something, like Bill didn't give us anything that like was like I don't know. I guess he just reaffirmed everything, right? For us that we kind of what we thought we knew, but I would look into the civil cases though, or civilly suing. What's going on with you back there? She's like, I'm just waking up. She's actually just standing there right now, but That dog's a horse. Oh, hello. Your sister looks so small down there. I got one standing here now and one sleeping behind me. Oh, you gonna go in your chair? No. What's the matter? I'm just petting her. I'm just like, oh, Ashley, it's cute. Vincent, like, will look up things like, hey, like, I didn't know that dogs could have oranges. Like, I would have been like, no, dogs can't have oranges. I mean, they can in moderation. He had like a little like cutie or whatever last night. And he's like, hey, Google, can I feed my dog oranges? The dogs didn't like the oranges. They were just like, Mia gets weird with textures. Like, she's like she's like a sensory dog. Like, things that are if it's weird, she won't eat it. She likes noodles, but she doesn't like them if they have anything on them. Like, anything on the noodles, she won't do that. Araya will eat anything. She'll eat a brick if you give it to her. Hell, she don't care. She really don't. And I think it's because she was on the streets for so long. She had to, rummage. Yeah. So I think they're going to work together. Or maybe he'll say, I don't want to work with you. I know when I went to school online for criminal justice, and that's what he did, he ended up going online. I never met my teachers in person. It's so crazy. Oh, thanks, Ashley. Mia, we named her Mia Grace, and then Araya Lee. Araya came with her name, and I was like, that's a cool name. It's like Mariah, but without the M. That's how Vincent that's how he had to convince me how to say it. 'Cause I'm like, how do we say her name? I couldn't get it. Yeah, raisins and onions. Yep, none of that. We don't do those. And I think grapes, yeah, because they're like raisins, right? Yeah. We don't do those. What else do we give them? We don't really give them like a whole, we give them everything that we eat. I mean, everything that we eat, they get something, but it would be like whatever the healthy part of it is. Like if we're eating like Chipotle, we'll give him a couple pieces of the chicken, or the cat will get some chicken. He loves fresh like chicken that's like fresh, like a chicken breast. Don't tell him nothing. He'll eat it all day long. I think I gave that cat treats 15 times today. He got me every time. It's because he's old and he knows it. So he just plays on it. He does. He plays me every time. Oh, bananas. Oh, yeah. The peanut butter. Oh, anything peanut butter, my dogs are all about. Yeah, no chocolate. My dog did get into chocolate, though. What was it? I forget what she ate. It was like a couple Oreos or something. I was like, why? I don't even know how they were like left out. Like, I don't even know how she got to them because we don't leave stuff out. I forget how she got to them. Like, I think I had something like kind of open and she like opened the drawer. Like these dogs are smart. Ate the dang cookies. And then the cat doesn't really eat anything. He doesn't, not supposed to. He'll eat the dog food sometimes. He'll lick it. Like if it's fresh, he'll lick it. Oh, I got my cat the cat tree. Yeah, he has not been in it. I'll have to take a picture and show you guys. He will not get on it. He might be too big for it. It's huge. It's huge. So we're thinking about maybe sending that one back. We've had it up for like, I don't know, a week, but he hasn't got on it. Like I put him on it a couple times and he just like looked back at me like, and then jumped down. So I think it's too tall for him. Like I think it'll rock a little bit because he's just plump. He's just plump. And so what I'm thinking is Vincent said maybe we'll get him like a shorter one, like to where it's like just shorter and he's like feels more comfortable because he's right there beside it. He lays on the couch beside it, but he won't get on it. And it's almost like he's too big. My cat's pretty chunky. My cat's huge. He needs a ramp. So there was one with a ramp and I thought that was one we got, but this one has like a hammock in it. I'm like, my cat is not a hammock cat. Like that would be the cutest picture ever if he was just like laying in the hammock, but he would not do that. Yeah, he's like, no. He's like, I'm not doing that shit, Mom. Like, after 18 years, are you trying to make me exercise? I think that's what he thinks it is. It's exercise or it's his new house. But like, I thought about putting catnip on it, but then I don't know. I'm just still debating. I'm like, do I like, hammer, not hammer it, but like use a drill and drill it to the floor so he doesn't like rock it. I don't know. I don't think BK will pull any crap. I mean, other than what he'll do in jail is, I think he will put out some information when things start to trickle down, I feel like, and things are starting to get quieter. I think he's going to pop up with like a book or something like, I'm going to do a tell-all 15-part series that's going to take 25 years to make, I don't know. I think that'd be funny if we were just acting like we weren't interested in him. I should write him a letter saying I'm a YouTube creator, and I just want to tell you that I think that you're a waste of space. Wonder how Willie's doing. Let's see if he's still over there on his page or anything, because he was supposed to have 16 days off. That's a lie. And he was supposed to come back. And he was going to do a video on Jules, he said. Nope, just took his subscribers and he left. And nobody ever wrote on his page again. 9 days ago. Bum, bum, bum. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, though, if he didn't pop up. I did see that Justin is still out there doing things. Can William do that? Or what was I saying? I don't even know what I was saying now. I do spoil them. Oh, Ashley, they are. They're so spoiled when they come here. They love coming here. They know what's happening when they come to Auntie Tanya's house. Yeah. They're like, we're getting what we want. We're going to, whatever they want. We go to the mall every year. I usually get them after Christmas or before Christmas. Like that's right around the time I'll get them. I never get them in the summer, and I don't know why, because I have a pool. Hello. Kids go swim in the pool. That'd be so nice to say that to them. Oh yeah, BK write a book. I think he can write a book with somebody, but he can't benefit from it, like monetarily. Which two other creators? Yeah, he already signed the paperwork. Christina, they are. I'm going to tell you guys about the prison tomorrow. It's pretty gross though. Like it's one of the America's worst prisons. It's in like the top 15. Feces smeared cages, riots, biohazard ventilation systems, bugs everywhere. Oh God, you're lucky if you get a pillow. I hear you're lucky. He's going to wish he was back in solitary. He's going to wish he's back. I mean, I'm just telling you, Don't just listen. Yeah, I don't listen. I try not to. I was going back up in the chat. That's what did my dog eat? Was it like a chicken bone or something one night? Or I thought she did. Yeah, and I thought she did, and I was like freaking out. Oh my gosh, but then she did it, and we found it. It was bad. I thought she had eaten chicken bone. How is Dale? Ashley, I bet you he's living life. Your Chihuahua loves Doritos. I bet your Chihuahua's cute. I'm not a little dog girl. I've never had a little dog. My brother got a teacup poodle for my nephew when he was born. Like, I don't know, he's like 6 or 9 months after he was born or something. And I'm like, who gets a teacup poodle? It was like this big, right? It ended up, it was a bad litter. And my brother is the man that if he could save an animal, he don't care the price, the mileage, he will do what he has to do, right? But this little doggy just wasn't able to be saved. And he ended up getting him a pit bull after that. I said, well, that's more like it. And they've had them ever since. They've bred pit bulls and everything ever since. And they had the American pits. So they were the big ones, like the huge ones. Your mother-in-law has 2 Weimaraners? They got in the kitchen cupboard and chewed through the peanut butter. Oh, 2 Weimaraners. Tell your mother-in-law that I say, seriously, from the bottom of my heart, bless her soul. Bless her. Because these dogs, how about you, Mia? They are so needy and want your attention. They have to have it. Like Araya, she'll lay over in the bed. I can walk over here, do work, whatever I need to do. She'll just hang out over there. Mia, not a chance. Not a chance in hell. She's with me everywhere I go. Everywhere. Other than when I leave her up here to go to the pool. And if I do that, I'm going to probably come home to something being messed up because she's mad. Because she's mad that I left. But yeah, my gosh, I thought about getting 2 Weimaraners when I got her because she had her brother with her and they were so cute together in the little cage. And I already had Araya, good thing, because they're definitely very needy, but they're so good. If you can handle a big dog, they're the best dogs because they never leave your side. Actually, you guys would be. He's country version of me. Shave my head, put a cowboy hat on me. No, he doesn't wear cowboy hats really, but he would. He would though. I know. Your dog is big. We have a puppy in our apartment complex. Oh my gosh. It's like over here and it's just a little lab puppy and it's like perfection. It has a little what are they called? Those little, I just heard Google. It has one of those little like bandanas. That's what it's called. I couldn't think of the word. Bandanas around him. And I was like, we had to take our dog like away today because like our 2 dogs will bark and be stupid. And I was like yelling at Vincent. I was like, our dogs need bandanas. They need to look like that dog. So you have a Great Dane. Okay, see, country thing. Araya doesn't like any dogs, but we had a Great Dane that lived here for like 5 years and she loved that dog. It was so calm. It was so big. And it would just sit there like out in the grass, just like a statue, and she would run up on like up on the hill and she'd be wagging her tail and just like you could tell she had a crush on that dog. I was like, she likes that dog. But then the dog moved and I feel so bad for her now. She needs a new boyfriend. Oh, right, Ashley. I wouldn't want to be his prison bunkie. Can you imagine being the person that gets bunked with him? Oh, I hope we can figure out who that is. I'll write that person. We need someone on the inside. I'm like, we need to know the person that's bunking with Bryan Kohberger because Bryan may not write us back, but the person that's bunking with him might. Kara. That's so funny. My cat loves catnip. Oh, thanks, Chloe. Thank you. I saw the email earlier. Yeah, I'm going to put that up tomorrow. Thank you so much. Well, I'm going to jump off here. My dog was crying, but now she's not when I look at her. What are you sad about, Mia? You're just ready for me to be off here tonight? Okay. Okay, then. She's just like, I'm just ready for you to not be on the computer tonight anymore. Look how pretty you look. Look how pretty. You look all shiny because you got a bath. Show them your freckles on your nose. You got the cutest freckles ever. She's got jaundice eyes. Their eyes don't stay blue. Mine dogs didn't anyway. Her eyes were blue when she was a puppy. They were so cute. And now they're like yellow. They're like yellow-brown. I like playing with her ears. She hates it when I do that. But I'm gonna jump off here. I'm gonna take them into the other room. Oh, the other dog's waking up now. She's just like laying all back. It's cute. I need to get like puppy camera in here so that you guys can watch like whenever I do have like a real setup and I can actually like do more than one screen. If I need to have like Jay or someone teach me OBS, but I could put a doggy cam up then, and then you guys could like see the doggy sleeping. Yeah, she's just back here chilling. She's like, well, whenever you want to go. So thank you guys all for coming tonight. I do appreciate it. Happy 4th of July. Yeah, happy 4th, everybody. If I don't see you tomorrow, I will see you guys on Saturday. But I'm sure I'll see you tomorrow. I will see you guys tomorrow. If not all of you, at least the members, I'll see. But yeah, I'll be on tomorrow sometime during the day. It might be early. It might be late. So make sure you have that bell icon, all rung, and so that way you're notified of the live. And I'll try to put it on the community tab too. But I will see you guys all tomorrow. Have a good 4th if I don't see you. And I'll be back on the next live. Bye, guys. Have a good night.
Just like the street lights lit this town, like a fire in a blaze, gotta burn it down. Can't be afraid to leave this out. We got this far, don't know how.